Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Wood Wheels and Barbecue. I'm the Craftsman Rider, and today, smoked beef ribs. This is my Oklahoma Joe's Highland smoker, and today I'm doing smoked beef ribs. So, job number one is to get a fire started. Now, I've got these little fire starters down in here, and a very small amount of kindling on top. I'll get some more on there as the starters get going. There we go. I'm also trying out this V arrangement. Not sure if how well you can see that in there. But the grates on here are designed to keep the fire up off the bottom of the smoke box here, or the grates in there are designed to keep the fire up off the bottom of the firebox. And the idea there is to keep higher airflow. I've never done this way before. I've never done this method before, so we'll see how it goes. I think I want a glove. Okay. So in the firebox, like I said, I've got this little V arrangement. So the little V arrangement in there keeps the fire off the bottom of the firebox, keeps airflow, keeps the airflow to the fire good, which is important. We all know the parallelogram or triangle of fire. And the other thing that this V is supposed to do is to funnel the coals into this vertex right in here. Keep the coals condensed all together, I guess. So you can burn a really small, hot fire, and that's what you're looking for. This door, I keep this door wide open the whole time. That keeps maximum airflow again. And then up here in the stack, I keep that wide open as well. I keep the stack wide open as well. And I'm not sure if you can see the smoke that's coming out of there. It's sort of a wispy blue. That's what I'm looking for. What you absolutely don't want is great plumes of billowy white smoke. That's going to leave your meat with an acrid, bitter taste, and that's not what we're looking for. So I got to keep an eye on my fire. The trick to that is keeping wide open flame, which is not like that. Okay, I need a few minutes to get this going again. I think it just choked out a little bit. Well, this is my 4-pound. This is my 4-bone beef rib. I got it from Real Deal Meats here in Edmonton. Let's just get it seasoned up. This is my homemade
basic seasoning. I've got some ground black pepper, sea salt, and just a little bit of garlic, granulated garlic. So I'll just give this a decent coat. Not too much though. Wife doesn't like too much pepper. Make it a huge mess, but that's okay. Make sure to get the sides and the bottom. This looks like a nice meaty rib, so I'm looking forward to having this a little bit later. I think this little chunk is going to end up being my little snack in a little bit. There's kind of a flap on the beef that I had to trim off. All right. Well seasoned, but not over seasoned. Okay, I'll take you back outside and we'll get this on the smoker. Fire's working its way down to coals, that's good. Probably time to get my temperature probe set up. So I like to have one probe hanging out in the middle of my cook chamber right about here. Probably slide it back a little bit. The beef ribs are going to go over here, away from the firebox. I find it easier to control the temperature like that. So let's see where we are. I think that's doing nicely. This is my temperature probe remote. It's just a cheap one from Amazon. It does connect Bluetooth to my phone and there's an app so I can track it, but if I lose connection between my phone and this thing, then I lose all the history. So eventually I'm going to get one of those fancy Wi-Fi connected ones, and hopefully that'll work a lot better. So I'm just waiting for these coals to burn down a little bit further, then I'll get a chunk of hickory put on there, get it lit up, and then I'll get the beef on the cooker. Okay, so my coal bed is looking pretty good down there. I'll start with a chunk of hickory. This may be a little too big, but we'll see how the temperature does. So what I'm looking for here is for this split to be in wide open flame. I don't want it smoldering, I don't want anything like that. And we'll get into that a little bit later. While that chugs away, I'm going to get my other gloves on here and I'll get the beef loaded up. Man, I can smell that hickory. It smells delicious already. Okay, so I think I want the meatier side towards the fire. That's going to be sort of in here. So get that in there. And my little snack there. Do that like that. And hopefully that'll be a tasty little morsel a little bit later. Okay, so I'm not going to bother with a temperature probe in the meat just yet. I'll let that cook away for a little bit, and then I'll get that in there. Okay, so I'm going to get this lid closed, and I'm going to bring.
Okay, so in the firebox, like I said, I've got this little V arrangement. So the little V arrangement in there keeps the fire off the bottom of the firebox, keeps airflow, keeps the airflow to the fire good, which is important. We all know the parallelogram or triangle of fire. And the other thing that this V is supposed to do is to funnel the coals into this vertex right in here. Keep the coals condensed all together, I guess. So you can burn a really small, hot fire, and that's what you're looking for. I keep this door wide open the whole time. That keeps maximum airflow again. And then up here in the stack, I keep that wide open as well. And I'm not sure if you can see the smoke that's coming out of there. It's sort of a wispy blue. That's what I'm looking for. What you absolutely don't want is great plumes of billowy white smoke. That's going to be leave your meat with an acrid, bitter taste, and that's not what we're looking for. So I got to keep an eye on my fire. The trick to that is keeping wide open flame, which is not like that. Okay, I need a few minutes to get this going again. I think it just choked out a little bit. Okay, let's see how that goes. This is going to be an all-day affair. I'm going to have to babysit this constantly. But that's what this is all about. That's what cooking on an offset is about. And I think the fire's going out again. So what I'm trying to do is get the temperature up to about 225. But my fire... oh boy. My fire is kind of small. And I'm wondering if it's because of this V-grate thing. I think it's mostly intended for charcoal users, where they get a pile of charcoal lit and put that in the center of the V. Because I think all of my coals are just burning away to ash and then falling through. So we'll see. Okay, we're about an hour into the cook. Fire's doing pretty well. Got some good coals going on there. I'm almost ready to add another split. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is get some beef tallow ready. So beef tallow is, if you don't know, is just beef fat that's been rendered out of the meat. So yesterday when I bought those ribs, I also asked if they sold tallow, and they said no, but we do sell suet with which to make tallow. So I bought a bag of suet, about a pound, I guess, and I rendered it out. So that's what we're looking at right here. That's just beef fat that I cooked out of the suet. In addition, I did trim up the ribs just a little bit to get some of the fat off the top, and threw that in the pot as well. So
So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get this on the fire to smoke it, and when I go and wrap the ribs when they're at about 190 or so, when they look good and they feel good, then some of this fat will go in with the wrap. So okay, so let's get this beef tallow on the fire here. First of all, since I'm opening anyways, we can have a look at the beef ribs. I'm going to get some apple cider vinegar and water spritz on there in about an hour. I want to keep that sort of moist. I'm going to put the tallow, let's see, there we go. I'm going to put the tallow over next to the firebox so that it gets all nice and melty and hopefully smoky, and we'll be good to go. And I think it's time. Let's have a look at the fire. Yeah, I'm going to put a split on there. So I'm going to do that, and we'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so I'm about 2 hours into this cook. Temperature's doing pretty well. Fire's looking pretty good in there. I just added a little split. And I'm going to start spritzing the ribs. To start with, probably every, I don't know, hour and a half or something like that, and then as the cook progresses, I'll shorten that time. But let's have a look, see what they look like. It's looking pretty good. Getting some nice color on there. So I just want to make sure these don't dry out. Just keep them nice and moist. I'll give my little snack a spritz too, and that's my tallow going. Just maybe give it a bit of a stir up. I just want to make sure. I'm hoping this is gonna get nice and smoky. All right, that's good. Okay, well, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, well, here's where we are. I'm tired. It's 5 o'clock. That means it's been 8 hours since these ribs went on the smoker. I'm tired of babysitting the fire. This isn't my first rodeo, but you know, shit happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ribs off the smoker. I'm going to wrap them up, get that tallow on them, and then I'm sticking it in the oven for probably a couple more hours. And once it's done, I'll slice it up. I'll show you guys how it turned out, and that'll be the video. So let's get this beef off the smoker. It's looking pretty good. This is going to be hot. Oh, there we go. All right. All right. There we go. Let's get some tallow. You can see that took on a nice golden color. That on there. Oh yeah. Well, I hope that's not too much. If it is, oh well. Aha! Dirty hands, and I gotta move my weight. That's okay. Okay, let's see how this works. Now I want to keep the meat side up so that when it goes in the oven, any additional fat from that top side can continue rendering. Okay, I think I probably cut off too much butcher paper for this one, but that's okay. Hopefully you guys can hear me. If not, it'll be voiceover, Michael. If not, it'll be voiceover, Craftsman Rider. Okay, so meat side here, up. Meat side is down. Meat side is up. Well, that's how that one's working. All right. That's all ready to go. I'm going to let my fire burn down. Let that burn down. That V method worked out really well for me. I was really happy with that. Early in the cook, I thought maybe because I'm using just wood, that all of the coals would just burn away to nothing, fall through the grate, and I'd have a hell of a time keeping up with the fire. But once I got a good bed of coals, it just trucked along, and as long as you stay on top of it, there's no problem getting extra wood on there and lighting the fire. I had the easiest time. This was the easiest cook I've had so far for keeping temperature and making sure that that smoke is that wispy blue stuff, not that billowy white stuff. Okay, so I'm going to get this into the house, get it in the oven, and I'll see you when I decide to pull it out.
So after I pulled the ribs from the smoker and wrapped them in the butcher paper, I chucked them into a preheated oven at 300 degrees Fahrenheit and left them in there for about an hour and a half. Once I pulled them out, I let them rest just as is. I didn't unwrap them or anything. Let them rest for another half hour, and now you can see the result. You could see sort of a pretty nice bark on there, I think. Now, once I cut into the ribs, you'll see a nice dark smoke ring. My framing here is a little off. I'm still learning this trade, but there you can see. Nice big meaty ribs. I'm giving them a squeeze there to try to give you a look at how juicy they are. They were quite juicy when they came out. I'm glad I let them rest as you're supposed to. And let's have a look here. Now you can sort of see right here, there's a little bit of that unrendered fat. But you could see the juiciness in the other parts of the rib there. Now, some things I would do different on this cook. Number one, they didn't go in the smoker until about 9 a.m. And that was too late. I should have had these in the smoker cooking at about 6:30 in the morning. That would have given me plenty of time to get them up to temperature and then give them a wrap and leave them in the smoker to finish cooking and come up to temperature. Proper temperature would have been around 200, 205, I think. After that, you pull them off and give them a good long rest, at least 2 hours, and try to get that temperature back down to around 170, 165, something like that. That'll let all of the juices soak back into the muscle fibers and make for an even better bite. So if you like this one, give it a like, maybe a subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.